Because a ghazal is a poem like a string of pearls, thus splendidly suited to the stand-alone yet connected themes of Granny's narrative. And finally, so many other times, when I haven't written a thing, but have simply related it to my friends, cousins, lovers, and passengers on the express train that runs from Gdansk to Warsaw and back again. Because the truth lies somewhere else. In actual fact, the story begins, as usual, in pieces, now here, now there, in all sorts of different places and bodies, most of which ceased to exist long ago, but until now its steward and guardian has always been Granny. A granny of solid, reliable stuff, who, following some minor repairs and some more serious renovation a couple of years ago, still preserved so much sparkle and wit that when friends came to see me from faraway countries, I always took them to visit her, because, of all the antiquities to be seen in my northern Polish city, she was the most fascinating. Among Granny's charms, in the days when she still spoke, were the beginnings of her stories. In fact, it was, and is, always one and the same story, convoluted and blackened out of recognition under various layers of varnish and soot, starting in multiple places and generally never ending, at best interrupted by the end of a visit or by nightfall. Let us add that at Granny's house in Oliva nightfall, meaning the end of the conversation and the start of the going-to-bed ritual, occurs at around midnight at the earliest, and is not always definitive, because any great story has a tendency to grow rhizomes, to billow and expand at the peripheries and at the least expected moments, and so it does the job of reining us in rather than vice versa. The beginning usually coils like a cross between the tendril of a plant and an animal's prehensile tail. It wraps itself around an object, a person, a smell, or an anecdote, and then goes mad, putting out shoots and proliferating into whole thickets of words and punchlines. Unrestrained, it multiplies at random, makes the tea go cold, overcooks the pasta, and startles things that matter out of the memory. There we have it. It might be something like this. When I paid a visit to Count Krashinsky and his wife, and I knocked the Araucaria off the gueridon, or else, when Grandpa Leonard was facing the Tsarist firing squad, or maybe when a thief stole all the cabbages from the orphans' field at Lisov. In short, you never know where a listener might be found, peeping into the world through a suddenly exposed lens. That is, a chance listener. As for us, we already know the whole story, chopped into separate chapters, but we always know, in minute detail. One time, just imagine, Grandmama Wanda, and she was over 90 by then, quite simply vanished from Lisov at around noon. It was the middle of the war. There were Germans everywhere. We seek her here, we seek her there. There's no gig and no coachman. We run about, we start to fret. Why are you making those faces? We know the story. You do? Asks Granny in disbelief, but she's not in the least put out, not a jot. So, how does it end? She'd gone to the hairdresser's. All right, you do know it, says Granny, briefly downcast, but quick as blinking she regains her composure. But no harm's done. One day, just imagine, Grandmama, and she was 90 by then, well, so she came home with a permanent wave. I am over 90 years old, she said, and it would be silly to die without ever having had a permanent wave. Margot is walking about my room with a cup in hand, looking for something new. Whenever I visit her, I do the same. Where did you get this? I ask. And what is this? Her world is beautiful and harmonious, which means that every bit of it is equally fascinating. Margot is called Małgorzata, or Margarita, or Pearl, and she really is as pearly as a pearl. Now she's approaching the cupboard and picking up a photograph. Did you buy this at the flea market? No, it's from home. I begged it off Granny because there were two like it. I have hardly any photographs from her childhood.